one of the big areas of need has been in patients with post-thrombotic syndrome. So post-thrombotic syndrome is when a patient gets a blood clot. Now, most patients think that when we put them on blood thinners that the clot just dissolves. That's not what happens. The clot actually causes damage to the vein wall. It damages the valves that are in the vein, and the vein just never really functions normally again. And so people always have some mild degree of pain and swelling and skin discoloration for it. So the dream has always been to be able to put like either a new valve or a percutaneous valve into these damaged veins. So for 30 years, people have been conducting research on that, but we recently had a breakthrough in which there is a new device that has gone through the initial clinical phases of showing safety and efficacy. It's called the NV Veno valve. And now they're in the pivotal trial portion of it, in which they've had 22 centers and they've done 75 patients. And they presented their data at the American Venous Forum, and it shows significant resolution of the patient's pain, swelling, and symptoms. And they're about to present their 12-month data. So my hope is that by the first quarter of 2025, that this device is going to be made available. Now, the downside is that it's a surgically implanted valve, but that's fine. But the same company is also working on a percutaneous valve based upon that technology as well. So that device is now in animal trials or animal studies. So I don't anticipate that that device will be available for 3 to 5 years, but there's a group of patients that had no options whatsoever. The second exciting thing that I think is going to be on the purview is biosensing devices. So I have diabetes and I wear a sensor on my arm, and I check my sugars through the sensor, and that data is then sent to my endocrinologist. I also have a sleep apnea machine that's also sent to my pulmonologist. So what I anticipate is that for patients who are wearing compression garments, that we're going to be having sensing devices that's going to send me information regarding compliance, whether you're using it, whether you're not using it, whether the compression is in the right area. And there's a company that's a startup company in Israel right now, which is using proprietary thread technology to actually stimulate muscle function. And then finally, the third thing is a corollary to something that Elon Musk is working on, and Jeff Bezos. So again, with the theme of biosensing, so Jeff Bezos has a company which they made a stent that has sensors on it. So one of the things I think that's going to happen, or what I've suggested to happen, is if we can take the sensor on the stent and have that send me information as to whether or not the stent is functioning properly, I won't have to bring the patient back every 3 to 6 months or once a year and do an ultrasound to see if the stent's open or not. The stent's going to tell me when it's failing, and it's going to send me the information so that I can call the patient and say, listen, I just got a notification from your stent that there might be some problems. I need you to come in and see me. So I think this is where the future is over the next 5 to 10 years. It's extremely, extremely exciting. And then finally, just to throw one more thing, since I see you both smiling there, I think that within my lifetime, I'm going to see colonization of either the moon or some people on Mars. There's going to be a whole area of medicine that's going to be brand new called space medicine, because we don't know what the effects of gravity are. There was a senator from Arizona. His name is Kelly. He has a twin brother who was on the space station for 14 months. When he came back, they studied the genes of his twin brother who was on the space station and his brother who stayed on Earth. And there were multiple changes, but the worst thing that happened to his brother Scott, he suffered from horrible lymphedema from being in a weightlessness environment. So we're going to see numerous circulatory issues that are related to low gravity environments, and there's going to be a whole field of medicine that's going to have to develop in order to determine how to deal with some of these things. So that's short-term, mid-term, and long-term things I see on the horizon.